What is up, Gamer Army? Welcome back to my channel, Psycho Gamer. I am your host, Aubrey, and today we are going to talk about the top titles, if not majority of the titles, that have come out from Arcade1up just this year, plus one more we are waiting for them to announce. That's if this list goes according to plan. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, guys. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about the top rumors, releases, and announcements of 2022 from Arcade1up right after this. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Like I said, we are going to talk about some of the top rumors, releases, and announcements from Arcade1up for the year 2022. We're going to do one of these at the end of the year when we actually have everything out that is officially supposed to be out. So first we're going to go over the actual releases. Then we're going to also go over the rumors and announcements that they've actually really done. So first few games we had, many of these were on, if not all of them, were on that GameFly list. So you had Miss Pac-Man Partycade, which was released, and Super Pac-Man Partycade that were also released in March. Those are kind of the brown box looking ones. So if you haven't seen those are kind of like your old style ones. They almost look like the little Atari wood grain kind of thing when it came to the entire body of the actual cabinets themselves. So they were actually really nice looking and looked really good in a retro home arcade or retro home setting. So on top of that, you also had the announcements of the Atari countercades, which those were the ones that you basically were wireless and you could sit on your couch and beam it straight to your television. And there's a lot of different games that you can really play with that particular cabinet. That one came out in April. You had a few different releases in April. One of the big ones, though, was Golden Tee 3D. It was the first cabinet they've actually released with a 19-inch screen. So that one you can go and actually buy right now in local Best Buys. I know because I saw one when I was out just this afternoon, just kind of wandering the city after work. So on top of that, you also had the Pac-Man countercade. So you had the Atari countercade and you had the Pac-Man countercade. They each had different types of games on them, but they were very similar in how they looked and the actual games that were actually on these particular handheld television devices. A couple of the other ones that you had that came out, you had Centipede Atari Legacy and you had the Pac-Mania Bandai Legacy cabinets that both came out in June on the 15th. Those were both really good ones. I think the Centipede Atari Legacy, I think that was probably the better one of the two cabinets that came out in that particular month. We did have a lot more people that were looking for these particular cabinets, or at least looking for information on these particular cabinets. So I don't know. It was really, really nice, though. One title that did not necessarily make it onto this particular leak list was Dragon's Lair. Now, Dragon's Lair, a lot of people were really waiting for Dragon's Lair to get released. Now, Space Ace was supposed to come out, but from what I understand, due to lack of pre-orders or interest, Arcade1up scrapped the Space Ace cabinet. So, unfortunately, unless there is more outcry for them to actually release the Space Ace cabinet, unfortunately, we are not going to see that release. So, if you really want to see it, go ahead and message Arcade1up, tag John D, start something out there so that you can actually get them to release it. But I don't think they're going to, because I think more people were really looking forward to Dragon's Lair as opposed to your Space Ace cabinet. So it is what it is. I'm sorry, guys. Next couple things you got, there was a bunch that got released in March. So you had the Joust Collector's Cade. You had the Mortal Kombat 30th Anniversary Legacy Edition. You had the Mortal Kombat Collector Cade. Now, the Collector Cades were new cabinets, so they were like those little $100 cabinets that just recently came out. They're going to look great on a shelf. Are they going to be great to actually play with? No, 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 no. You might as well just go to Walmart and get one of those little $20 little handheld arcade machines, because it's not going to be as great as a lot of people would really expect. The idea is great, but if you're trying to compete with the numbskull cabinets, unfortunately, those are probably some of the best quality cabinets you're going to actually find out there. And unfortunately, the quality is just not going to be there to compete with them. We did also have the NBA Jam Shaq Edition that was released back in July, along with the Street Fighter II Champion Turbo Legacy cabinet. They had a great event just a couple months before this particular cabinet came out. The NBA Jam Shaq Edition is the second cabinet that Arcade1up has released as an XL cabinet. No, it was not a Pro cabinet. It did not have the quality of the Pro cabinets. How do we know? Well, it wasn't $1,000 or $900 or whatever the pricing is going to be on those systems when they finally get released. Now, unfortunately, the Pro Series cabinets, from what I understand, they did get pushed back until 2023. So it has to do with the ability of getting all the right parts and the labor, and just there's a number of different factors that you really have to take into consideration when it comes to creating some of these cabinets. And when they're getting newer parts and much better quality parts, they have to look at different vendors versus what they've really been getting right now. So Street Fighter II Champion Turbo Legacy Edition was another good cabinet that people didn't really expect, but they got it anyway. Now, I know a lot of people are probably tired of hearing about Pac-Man, Street Fighter 2 in general, and also Miss Pac-Man, because they are going to have many of the same games on them. You know, your Street Fighter 2s, they have most of those fighting games that were related to Street Fighter or X-Men or Marvel or something to that effect. Whereas your Pac-Man games, they're going to have many of the 50 different variations of Pac-Man out there, it seems, and Galaga and Dig Dug, things like that. So you won't be surprised when I tell you that the following month, 2022, September, is supposed to have the Miss Pac-Man head-to-head countercade come out and the Miss Pac-Man Legacy cabinet. Both are out next month. So that's going to kind of coincide with some of the other games that are going to start pre-order as well as releases as well. On top of that, you got the Pac-Man Galaga head-to-head countercade, and you have the Pac-Man 5 games in 1 countercade that are also going to be coming out in September as well. So lots of Pac-Man. Lots of Pac-Man. I know you guys absolutely love Pac-Man. Now, the next couple of games we're going to talk about are the biggest titles of the year. Now, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and NFL Blitz. I really can't describe how insane people are going to go when these particular cabinets have been released. Now, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, they don't start the pre-orders until September. So if you are going to get it, make sure you get onto the Arcade1up website and smash the button for notifications for when the pre-orders actually start, because I can guarantee you Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is going to sell out. Yes, I predict that it will sell out within the first day or two that they actually put pre-orders up. But I'm hoping that John D. and Arcade1up have prepared for them to release this title and have maybe ordered more of these cabinets so that they actually have more to sell for the holiday season, not just for pre-orders, but for regular sales as well. It'll be nice to see that particular cabinet come in the store along with NFL Blitz. Now, NFL Blitz, not everybody is a football fan, but a lot of people liked the actual gameplay of NFL Blitz, even though they have kind of taken away a lot of the features. I know the late hits, and they've kind of had to shrink the rosters down a little bit. But the fact matters, they are releasing it, and the cabinet looks amazing too. I think there's one YouTuber that's out there who already has it. He's put it in and done reviews on it, and also posted some of the gameplay out there as well. So If you are a football person, go pre-order it. It's available for pre-order right this second. So get it done. You know you're going to want to do it anyway. So it is what it is. Now, one of the cabinets that has not been announced yet, which many of us are maybe a little bit concerned that it may or may not get a release this year, and that's going to be Time Crisis. Now, so far, the GameFly list has been 100%. This is the one game that has not necessarily been announced yet. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they aren't going to release it. It may get delayed. They may still be working on it, but we are looking at a cabinet that's supposed to have 2 light guns in them, kind of like your Terminator 2 cabinet did. But this is going to have like a pedal of some sort, 1, maybe 2 different pedals, to be able to play this particular cabinet effectively. It would be better with a 19-inch screen, yes, I'm not going to deny that, or bigger. 17 inches, I think, is going to be a little too small when they actually announce this. Now, we know it's going to be more expensive. We know it's going to be like $800 versus many of the other titles that are out there. But you look at Terminator 2 right now, that game has been going on sale a lot lately. You've been able to get it as low as, I think, $350, $375, something like that. And I think there's a couple sales going on right now where you can get it for about $500. So sales are out there. Jump on them while you can, guys. I'm not stress that enough. Now, some of the games that were rumors this past year, we're just kind of following up on something because there really hasn't been any announcements or information about these since I ended up doing some of these videos earlier this year. Now, one of the first videos that I had that was a rumor was the original Double Dragon. We also had Track and Field, Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which was something that John D said he was going to be talking with those companies about. That was one of the few games that a lot of people got really excited about coming onto one of these cabinets because it wasn't actually an arcade cabinet. But the way the gameplay is, it may as well have been released in the arcades just because of the quality of the game, the multiplayer capabilities, and just the fun factor of this particular game. Last couple titles, Double Dragon 2 was the newest one, the newest title that we actually saw. That was at this Arcade1up arcade that they had, I believe, down in Florida. And also Ninja Turtle XL. So the XL cabinet was something that we saw on a video. Somebody did an interview with one of the designers from Arcade1up. And we saw this in the background. Now, is it possible that it could be an XL cabinet? There's always that possibility, especially when we start seeing stuff like that. Especially when it's an official interview with somebody directly from the company that most of us are really fans of. Now, I don't think it's going to be real. I really don't. The Double Dragon 2 one, we saw an official cabinet. We saw it in an official location. Now, is it going to get an official release? I guess if they have enough people that actually start talking about it, because Double Dragon was a big part of everybody's childhood back in the 90s. 80s, 90s. Depends on when you really got into video games. You know, you can get your Double Dragons versus Battletoad on Double Dragon 1 and 2. So you have a lot of different options of games you can really put on there as beat-em-ups. So I think that's going to be it. There was a lot of games we really talked about, guys. I hope you guys liked the video and soaked in that information. So post down below which of your games that you saw this year are your favorite titles. Post it down below. Let me know. Maybe I'll even go ahead and post something for you guys to vote on to see which one of these cabinets is your favorite cabinet of the year. I think I already know which one or two are going to win out. But, hey, you never know until you post it. Then the next video, when we start posting, hey, what kind of games could we be looking at for 2023? Then maybe that would be something that we could actually unveil the results of that vote. So Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate you guys coming and toughing it through, because I know this is a little bit longer video than normal. But I appreciate you guys coming out either way. I'll see you next time, guys. Until then, guys, make sure you game on as always.